Okay, welcome everybody. Today's presentation is called Making Your Life Easier with Technology, Creating Events and Managing Volunteers in the Action for Healthy Kids School portal, and it's brought to you by Action for Healthy Kids. My name is Sean Wade, and I will be your presenter today. First, wanted to review some logistics before we get started. You can see a control panel. It's usually on the right side of your screen. You can use your telephone or speakers to listen to the presentation, but everyone will be muted to avoid static and background interference for the duration of the webinar. There is a dialog box at the bottom of your control panel, though, and you can type questions into that as we're going along. We'll try to get them answered as we go along or later in the presentation. If we can't get to your question, we will definitely answer it via email following the webinar. The webinar is being recorded, by the way, and links to both the recording and the resources, as well as the PowerPoint slide deck, will be sent to you within a couple days after the webinar, so by the end of this week. Wanted to take a quick second to introduce myself and our other presenter today, Sarah Pronto. My name is Sean Wade, Volunteer Initiatives here at Action for Healthy Kids. I work with our national organization, our network of schools, and our partner organizations to develop strategies for engaging volunteers into our school health and wellness efforts. That includes typically parents, family members, youth, and other community members, as well as partner nonprofits, businesses, and other community partners. Sarah Pronto is our database manager at AFHK. She has worked extensively on the development and rollout of the event and volunteer management system that we'll be talking about today. It's within our school portal, and she's really an expert on the ins and outs of the system. So she'll be joining to offer some tips and tricks on using the system and answer any questions about how to get the most out of it that you might have as we go along the way. She'll also be taking questions from you as we go, so please keep that in mind and keep your eye on that dialog box. And if you have any questions or suggestions as we go along, please do go ahead and pop those in. Going to start off today with a quick overview of Action for Healthy Kids, who we are and what we do, followed by a brief overview of the resources that we have available to help make your life easier as you plan events at your school. And really, that's the goal with all of the resources that we've created today and we'll discuss. We're always looking to develop and offer other tools and resources or guides or templates that can help meet the goal of making your life easier as you're planning these health and wellness focused events. So please, if you have any ideas for other types of resources that could be helpful throughout the webinar today, use that dialog box to let us know, and we'll do what we can to make it happen. Once I kind of go through an overview of the resources currently available, I will then dive a little deeper into a few of them, go through a demo of how to register your event through that school portal system that I mentioned earlier, and some of the options and tools that you'll have at your disposal once you do. As a reminder, all Action for Healthy Kids grant-funded schools are required to register their Every Kid Healthy Week events in that system by April 7th. So that's just over 2 weeks away. So if you haven't yet, then this is a great a kind of how-to and refresher on how to get your events registered in that system. And if you already have, then this might be a great resource to help you see some of the other things that you can do within that system. I'll also be walking through our school event planning guide and the templates that are contained within that so that you can see what you can edit and use for future events. As well as some tips and tricks to help make managing your events and volunteers as smooth as possible. And we should have plenty of time for questions as we go along, so please do use that dialog box to submit any that you have, particularly questions around or other suggestions around ideas that you have for resources that we could provide. So, I want to start out by giving you a little background on our organization, Action for Healthy Kids. We are a nationwide grassroots network mobilizing school professionals, families, and communities to take actions that improve school foods, nutrition education, physical activity, and physical education for all students. You can see our vision and mission there on the screen. We offer free programs, educational resources, and grants to schools to implement best practices and policies to increase physical activity and improve the school food environment. We also believe that really everyone has an important role to play in creating healthier schools and students. Today we have more than 110,000 people in our network. We partner with dozens of professional associations, government agencies, and corporations at the national and local levels to really make our impact possible. Our spring grant cycle is also now open to all schools, so you can check out our website there if you're interested in applying for one of our grants for the 2017-2018 school year. And we have programs and resources for parents and school volunteers available, including our annual Healthy School Heroes Awards, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Those awards recognize outstanding teachers, administrators, parents, and community members who have gone above and beyond to make schools a healthier place. And we are the lead organization behind the National Every Kid Healthy Week. We will talk about that a little bit more this hour, but that happens officially during the last week of April, April 24th through 28th this year, and that's a week of celebration, celebrating all of the great work schools do throughout the year in creating healthier school communities. Speaking of healthier school communities, we really believe that the school-family community partnerships are essential to creating healthy school environments that are both impactful and sustainable. For these partnerships to be successful, parents, families, and community engagement initiatives need to be intentional, comprehensive, and creatively designed to fit the needs of your particular school community. So one way that many schools initiate, promote, and celebrate those partnerships is by hosting school-wide events that focus on school wellness programs. And that's what we're going to talk about today and focus on are those school-wide events and how we can help make those as successful as possible. So in order to meet that goal and make it as easy as possible for you to plan school events centered around health and wellness, we have a great deal of resources available on the volunteer page of our actionforhealthykids.org website. That's the page that you see there, or a little snippet of that page where you can see the planning resources that we have available. We have guides on registering and managing your events and a full school events planning guide that I will walk through shortly. On the volunteer page, you can also find some links to register your event in our events and volunteer management portal, to Game On for more event ideas and volunteer management and engagement tips, and to our Healthy School Heroes page where you can nominate your all-star volunteers for that annual award that I mentioned. I'll discuss those resources all shortly, but first I want to give you a quick demonstration on how to register your event in our school portal and some of the other benefits and resources that come along with that registration. So in order to register your event, you'll see here, this is again that snippet of the volunteer page, and right in the middle is the link to the Action for Healthy Kids school portal. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link, and that will take me to the login page. If you already have a login in our school portal, if you've applied for a grant for your school or registered an event before, then you'll have a login there, and you just enter your username and password. If you don't have a login yet, registration is really simple. Just click on the register button here. It will ask you for a few pieces of contact information and to create a username with your email address and a password. Then you'll be able to get in and log into the system. Once you are in our school portal, then you can really access all of the things that we have to offer. Grants, you can associate yourself with your school, you can adjust your profile, but what we're interested in today is the events. So what you'll do is go over to the left-hand sidebar there and click on the events button, where you will be able to then request an event and register your event. Today we're going to focus on requesting an event for Every Kid Healthy Week, since that is what is coming up most immediately in just about a month. So once you say request an event, and once you click on that link, it'll take you to this page, and you'll need to fill out this form. The basic form is very simple. Once you select that you're doing an Every Kid Healthy Week event, there are a few other questions at the bottom that we'll ask you to answer. But they are pretty straightforward and will go pretty quickly. So I'll just take you through this step by step so you can see how to use this system, and then I'll show you a few of the other resources that we have to help you manage those events once they're in. So I'll use the test school that I'm affiliated with, Shattuck Test School. It's not a real school, but it's a good one for testing. We'll call this the Test Every Kid Healthy Week event. And I've already made sure that it is an Every Kid Healthy Week event for the event type. If you're using this to create a different type of event, if it's not during Every Kid Healthy Week, then you can use the other options that are available here, whether it's a school health team event or a special event or program or activity. And those are options that you have available to you year-round as well. So the start date for this event, I will make it during Every Kid Healthy Week. We'll say it's going to happen on the first day of Every Kid Healthy Week, April 24th, and it's just going to be a one-day event. We'll start it in the morning at 7 a.m. and we will wrap it up when school closes at 3. We're in the central time zone where I'm at, so I'll do that. And then insert a brief description. And this is a description that if you make this available for volunteers or for participants to register on the event search page that I'll show you in just a few minutes, this is the description that the public sees when they go to register for your event. So you want to make this as detailed or as complete as possible while still keeping it relatively concise. So I'll say this event will celebrate our year-long efforts to improve school wellness with a full-day health fair at the school. You can make that as detailed as you want, but really we want to try to keep it concise, but also let people know what is happening with the event. The street address, I'll just put in a street address. I'll use our office in Chicago, our Action for Healthy Kids headquarters, and then you have 2 options. The first one is whether you want to collect and manage event registrations through Eventbrite. That allows you to have participants that will be participating in your event register and allows you to manage those registrations, communicate with them all at once, create a check-in sheet, and do some other options that we'll talk about in just a little bit. So if you would like to do that, you can go ahead and just select yes. So I'll do that so that I can show you what's there. The second option is that you can use the school portal to recruit and manage volunteers, and I'll show you what that means too in just a minute, but we'll go ahead and select yes for that as well. Once you say that you want to recruit and manage volunteers, then it will also ask you for a volunteer coordinator. So I'll choose myself to do that, and we'll agree to the Action for Healthy Kids school acknowledgement release. That is a release that you can read there as well, but I'll go ahead and check that box for now too. So then the Every Kid Healthy Week event will ask you to go ahead and put in some extra details for the event. So I will enter my email address and name. We'll describe the type of event that I'll host. So I mentioned that that would be a health fair. And then it asks for some things like how many students do you think will be there? And I'll say we'll have 400 students. We'll have 50 parents. School representatives and staff will have 25 of those, and 10 community representatives. Those numbers can be estimates for now. We're not asking for final official tallies here. Those are just ideas that we want to get so that we can have an idea of how large the event is as we're tracking participants going forward. So those don't have to be specific numbers right now, just estimates are fine. And then we ask if you'd like to recruit event volunteers to help support your event. I'm going to say yes. That's a different question than the one above. This is just if you're recruiting volunteers on your own but not using the system, you might answer no to the question above about whether we want to use the school portal to recruit and manage volunteers, but maybe we're using the PTA to recruit and manage volunteers instead. So we're going to say yes to this one, even if we said no to the one above. For this event, I'm going to say yes to both because I'd like to use the system to recruit volunteers, and maybe we'll also recruit internally at the school. How many volunteers do I plan on engaging? It's a big health fair for a full day. I'll say 25 volunteers. And then we ask if you're able to accept corporate volunteers for the event as well, if those are available. I'm going to say yes for that as well. If I can get 10 volunteers from a local company to help out, that'll help get to that 25 volunteer number that I need. With these questions, especially the corporate volunteer question, you will always have the right of refusal. If we match you up with a company that is interested in getting involved and you decide that it's not a good fit, you will always have that option to say, no, I don't think this is a great fit for us. We're going to keep this internal. We've got plenty of parents that are involved and want to get engaged in this event, so we don't actually need the corporate group. So you'll always have that option to say no at a later time. This just gives you that option to say yes if you would like to keep that available. And I would mention, since we're discussing Every Kid Healthy Week, you also have an option, if you do say yes to this and yes to the earlier question about recruiting volunteers using the portal, Kohl's, we have a nationwide partnership with them this year for Every Kid Healthy Week, and they are offering groups of volunteers as well as a $100 stipend for any schools that match up with their volunteers and are able to use them through their Every Kid Healthy Week event. So it's a cool opportunity to get some volunteers involved in your event, also to get some extra funding for the event, and also to start to kind of create that partnership with Kohl's on a local level for the school, which who knows where that could lead to. Sometimes it leads to a really great ongoing partnership. Sometimes it's a one-day event and it goes really smoothly and that's it. But that option is out there, so you're welcome to use that as you see fit. And then you can choose whether any local leaders or VIP guests will be available to attend the event. I'll say there might be some local government representatives. How am I going to promote the event? School newsletter, school website. You can use that control button to select more. And I'm also going to do some social media stuff. Do I plan to serve a healthy snack? Yeah, I think we can definitely serve a healthy snack at the event. So we'll be tracking on that. And then how did I hear about the Every Kid Healthy Week event? I'm going to say that I heard about it from my state coordinator. And then you also have the opportunity to share any additional unique or interesting news about your school's health and wellness program that we might be able to share with your local media or promote as we promote Every Kid Healthy Week event nationally. So you're welcome to enter anything in there that you deem appropriate. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this, and what will happen now is this will show up in my events timeline, my event feed here as an event that has been requested, and I will also be getting an email that reflects that as well, that says, hey, you've submitted your event. Thank you for doing that. Here's a confirmation email. And then once it's been approved officially by the Action for Healthy Kids team, I'll get another email that confirms that, and then it will show up on the event search page. So I'll show you what that looks like now. So this is our event search page, where once the event has been approved, then the event will display on the event search page, and you'll be able to then see what that looks like. So this is where potential volunteers would express interest in your event. If you have opened it up to volunteers, then there will be a volunteer button like this right here, and you can see that once you click on that volunteer button, then the description that you entered in earlier will be able to pop up for volunteers that might be interested. Volunteers that would be interested can then click on volunteer. If they have an account in our school portal, then they'll be able to just volunteer right away or express interest in volunteering once they agree to the release and waiver of liability, and also that they're 18 or over. They'll check those two boxes and then say volunteer for this event. If you do have a volunteer that does that for your event, you'll get then an email that says, hey, here's this volunteer, here's the contact information, go ahead and reach out to them. So again, just as with the corporate volunteers, the schools have the right of refusal or the ability to find out if it's a good fit with the individual volunteer or the group of volunteers. Once you have the volunteer's name and contact information, that's really then in your court to reach out and say, hey, this is what the event looks like. Here's some extra details. Here's what we're looking for from a volunteer perspective. And also, you know, if we have a background check requirement, then that's when they can share that. That's when you can share that information as well, and then decide if it's a good fit or not. If it is a great fit, great. Share the timing and the date with the volunteer, and make sure that they know where to show up and what to do when they get there. And then if it's not a great fit, then you can let them know that, hey, we're actually going to be looking for something else. This isn't a good fit for this event, but we'll definitely keep you in mind for future events. So I'll go ahead and go back now to the PowerPoint, and would be happy to open up questions for anybody that may have questions on how to use the event management system, if there are questions out there. There are also step-by-step guides for registering your events through the Eventbrite registration system and on how to manage volunteers. on our website, on the volunteer page of our website, so you're welcome to check those out as well.
This is Sarah. I will offer up just one other little color commentary that having the event in the school portal is really about creating options and integration within the school portal. That's really how it was designed from the beginning of it and the concept of the whole thing. It really provides, again, that one-stop shop for schools to do all of their school health efforts in one spot. So you're not collecting things from an Excel spreadsheet or putting out an email or, what did I do last year? I can't remember. So it really provides, again, that one-stop shop. If you've got a grant, you can do that there. If you're filling out the school health index, you can do that there. If you're hosting events, you can do that there as well. So kind of keeping everything cohesive and tied to the school in terms of school health efforts. It also gives you a nice history of your events. So when you're logging in year after year, you can see over time that, last year we did an Every Kid Healthy event. What did we do? I can't quite remember. And kind of the growth that we had in terms of people participating, and you can see that progression year over year. If you're repeating those events, you can do the same event. If you want to change it up, you can do a different event, and just, again, have that history and context of what you've done in the past and continue that integration with all of your school health efforts in the school portal.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, and that's a good point too. And with not just incorporating everything in one place, but also having those options to recruit volunteers through the same place that you're also managing the registrations from parents or family members that are participating, as you can do through the Eventbrite system here. So thanks for that extra context there. Want to just say a quick word about the Eventbrite registration system. I talked a little bit about how volunteers can sign up for your events through the event search page. A couple screenshots here show how you can use the Eventbrite system to register participants for your events as well. So if you do decide to do that, use the Eventbrite registration system for attendees, then you'll get that email that you see on the left side of your screen there that invites you to create your sub-user account under the Action for Healthy Kids account, and that will allow you to manage your event. Or you can see kind of once you log in, you create your login through the Eventbrite system, you'll be able to see all of your events that you have managed or that you have coming up in that system. You can use those to then send emails and do lots of other different types of things, whether you're promoting your event or managing sign-in once the event is upcoming. You can create a sign-in check-in list. You can create name tags. You can also use a laptop to check in your guests at the event. So there's lots of different options there that you can use as resources to really make the event easier to manage so that you're not, like Sarah said, using Excel spreadsheets on one hand or sign-in sheets from the office and trying to incorporate those with the PTA sign-in sheets that they had from their last meeting. This is just one place where everybody can go. They can all register in one place, and you can print out those attendee lists and have that all together and check people off as they come in. So it's designed to be a really easy way. Yep, go ahead, sir.
I was just going to add one more quick thing. The Eventbrite registration is really nice when we have two components to your event. So you have kind of an attendee side, and then you also have a volunteer side. And the Eventbrite registration really works nicely when you have a strictly attendee piece of the event that you can manage and check in people where you're just having that constant flow of attendees coming to your event that you want to keep track on. And then obviously on the volunteer side, you have a little bit more control in terms of accepting or declining or volunteers and how they come through your certain school requirements in terms of any background checks or waivers or anything like that that they might need to do or have beforehand before they go to the event. So again, it's really nice to have those two options, one more so for an attendee portion and then also have that volunteer component as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
We do have one question as well.
Oh, great.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, please. That's what I was going to ask you.
Absolutely. I have a question that says, our district requires all volunteers to fill out a background check and sign a waiver. How do we let them know about that?
Good question. Great, thank you. So basically, as volunteers express interest in your event through that event search page, once they hit that button and say volunteer, then it's really in your hands to let the volunteers know what their requirements are. The potential volunteers know what the requirements are for your specific district or your specific school. So if there is, like you mentioned, a background check or a waiver that you have that the volunteers need to fill out, then that would be the time that you could send that to them, whether that's a link to a background check online or a waiver that they could sign and send back to you via email or bring in with them when they volunteer. That's the time to kind of go through that and any other requirements that you might have. You can share those with them at that time. You'll have their contact information.
Great, and then I do have one other question that came in as well. It says, most of our volunteers are parents who register with our PTA or on a sign-up sheet in the office. How can this tool help us?
That's a good question too. Yeah, and some of that we just kind of just discussed with being able to kind of have everything in one place. So if they sign up with the PTA or a sign-up sheet in the office, you can either send them the link to the Eventbrite and help manage all of the attendees here. If you have, like you said, Sarah, the kind of the difference between the attendees and the volunteers. But if these are volunteers that are signing up within your kind of internal process, then it can also be a way of managing the communication with them. You can use some of the templates and other tools and other resources that we've created to communicate with those volunteers or let them know kind of what might be available or how to plan ahead for them. But then there's also like the example that I gave from Kohl's, where you have, if you open the volunteer option online through the portal, then you have that option of recruiting community volunteers from outside your immediate parent community or school community and getting more involved within the community. So whether that is with a corporate partner like Kohl's might be, or with just somebody who lives down the street and wants to get involved in their local school, those are all options that can open up through that. And that just wouldn't be available if you don't kind of click that link that says, hey, we might be open to having some community volunteers. And again, that's not a commitment. That's not saying that you have to, but that's just kind of giving yourself the option to make that event more widely available.
Great, that's all the questions for now.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Sarah. The next thing that I wanted to do, and I briefly talked about, just mention some of the resources that you can use for volunteers that might be, whether they're parents or whether they come from the community or come from corporate or community partners. The school events planning guide that we have available on the website is a great resource to use throughout the planning process. So really, it kind of takes you through step by step with everything that you might need to know, and we try to make it as kind of general but specific. So as general as possible to cover different types of events, but as specific as possible to really take you through step by step of what you might need in order to do each of these events. So I'm going to just kind of quickly walk you through what this event guide looks like and what it includes, so that you can see what's available, as well as some of the templates that are available at the end in the appendix, and you can kind of get an idea of what you can use those for and how you can edit them to meet your specific needs. So you can see here the table of contents. We've really broken it down step by step into a 7-step process of what you need to do in order to plan an event. And again, depending on the type of event that you have, some of these steps may be more relevant than others, but we really tried to make it as evergreen as possible, that these are really the things that you need to accomplish for each type of event that you might hold. And then we've broken it down into an appendix of templates and other resources that can be helpful as you're planning events as you go along. So planning successful school events. This is sort of the step-by-step guide that you can see here. So the 7 steps for a successful event, and I'm not going to go in detail through each one of these, but just that you can read through them and know what's available for you as you're planning events in the future. The step 1, organizing your planning team, then developing your event goals and objectives, developing a logistics plan, recruiting volunteers and partners, promoting your event, finalizing details, and really that's the execution point in step 6, and then in step 7 is the follow-up and the kind of post-event evaluation and seeing what you can improve on for next time. So as you kind of get into these steps, then you can see some more information. There's some links. There's some kind of key items that you really want to make sure that you remember as you go along, and some tips and tricks too that we've found as best practices throughout the years in managing these types of events. So this is it's a 5-page document that takes you through step by step there, but then it's followed by this appendix that really includes some great resources and templates that you can use as you're planning your event. And as I mentioned earlier, some of the events that you're hosting may involve more planning or less planning because they may be simpler, they may be more complex. So some of these templates are available for you to download in an editable Word document, and then you can use that to really craft that and edit it down to what your specific needs are. So this is an example event timeline, but you can take it from here and you can say, I don't know that we really need to start 8 to 10 weeks out, maybe 6 to 8 weeks out for our first event committee planning meeting is a good idea, but we don't really have a budget for this, so I don't need that part, so I'm going to delete that line. We're going to post our event, but we're not really going to reach out to local organizations to spread the word. We're going to do that more internally. So I can delete that line. So you can really go in and edit this and add things as necessary or remove things as necessary depending on your specific event. There are also other items within the appendix, some sample event ideas that really show you some different things that you can do with your event if you don't have an event planned already, things like a family fitness event or a renovation of the school playground. So there's some ideas there that you can use as well. There's also a volunteer recruitment flyer that you can edit as you see necessary, and this is a really cool brightly colored flyer that involves, as you can see here, different things that you can insert, types of activities, the school name, the event name, that kind of thing there. So as I mentioned, with each of these different templates and each of these different resources, there is a link to download so that you can really use those as necessary and as you see fit. And that goes along with sample communications messaging for newsletters and for social media, a run of show template for the day of the event, a sample sign-in sheet. So if you're not using the Eventbrite registration form, this is another one that you could use, and then a post-event survey that you can use to find out from your volunteers or your attendees what was successful, what you think could be improved, favorite aspects of the event, things like that, and you can modify this as necessary, but this really helps, I think, to help schools plan for the future and get better as they go along. So I'll go ahead and pause there. Oh, go ahead.
One additional comment about the event planning guide, it really takes the guesswork out of your events. A lot of people say, I don't have time to do this, or I don't even know where to start, or how long it's going to take to plan this school health event. Like Sean mentioned, each of those steps of the event planning guide really take you step by step and really takes, again, that guesswork out of it. And you can, adjust accordingly and kind of make it fit to what you're doing. But, maybe you only need to know about how to promote your event or some ideas about that, so you can jump down to step 5. So really take those pieces out that you need, or again, start from step 1 and really create it from the beginning. But I think it really, again, takes that ambiguity piece about event planning out of the mix. Event planning can kind of seem, complex and a little bit scary at first, and not really knowing what to do or where to start or how to get this off the ground. And this really takes you step by step and really, handholds you through the whole process. And we did have a question that came in as well about the use of any templates and if there are any restrictions to using those.
That's a good question. Thanks, Sarah. There's not, as long as schools aren't completely changing everything and leaving our logo on there, there's not really any restrictions. Keep it within your school community as much as possible. But really, those templates are there for schools to use as needed and as they can. To make their events easier to manage. So yeah, no, not any specific restrictions there.
All right, that's it for now.
Great, thanks, Aaron. I also want to go over just a few other resources that we have available through our website or through other means that you can use along the way. The first one is our Game On program. Most of you may be familiar with our Game On program with other things that you've done with Action for Healthy Kids in the past. So you may be familiar with that image of the school grounds and all the different types there. But if you're not, it's definitely worth taking some time to check out the Game On program. You can go in and use the map to really see different activities in different areas. If you're looking for an event or an activity on the playground or in the school garden, in the cafeteria or in the gym, you can click on that area and then tons of activities will pop up. And within each of those activities, there are ideas for what you can do for that activity, a couple different ideas for activities. There's also tips on engaging volunteers for those activities as well. So you can kind of see here, this is the monthly activity for the month of March, hosting a healthy St. Patrick's Day party. So you can see some ideas on how you can do that, on things that you can make for that. But then you can also down at the bottom see some tips on how to engage volunteers for those parties as well. Whether you might want to ask parents to bring in some green snacks. You might want to invite a local chef to come and host a taste test for green foods that they use in their restaurant. Or maybe reach out to a local Irish dance company and include a physical activity component to your party. So those are the types of activities, the types of tips that are available within the Game On program, and it's a great resource to really get you started on any event that you might be interested in hosting. We also want to encourage you to always recognize and thank your volunteers, as well as any attendees that come to your events. So thank you notes, emails, school newsletters are all great resources, but we also have another one that's our big kind of annual signature award. That's our Healthy School Hero Award. And that's really for all-star volunteers, all-star folks who are really passionate about school wellness and do a lot throughout the year in order to make that happen. So that's one way that you can really recognize those volunteers that have been really great throughout the year or great as you're hosting events. And you can see that's available on our website, but you can see that the Healthy School Hero Award winners from 2016 as well as the nomination form for 2017 Healthy School Hero Awards. That also those award winners do receive a certificate, but not only that, they also receive a $500 award from Action for Healthy Kids to use themselves or to donate back to the school of their choice to support health and wellness programming. And they're also featured in some of our national communications as well. So it's really a great way to say thank you and recognize some of the great stuff that's happening within your school. There's also, you can see on the right-hand side there, the social media hub, and we really want to encourage all schools to celebrate their successes and use our social media tools to promote all the great stuff that you're doing, whether it's, that like a one-day event or an ongoing activity. Use those, use the hashtag #EveryKidHealthy and connect with your state team or state coordinator if you have any questions or to share some pictures. And then share any healthy celebration messages You can also always tag Action for Healthy Kids, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or any of the other social media outlets that the kids are using these days. But be sure to connect with us, and we love to spotlight schools that are doing great stuff, whether that's on a local level within your local media or from a national level. So go ahead and like us on all of those social media aspects as well. And finally, as we wrap up, I just kind of wanted to give you some final tips and tricks, and best practices that we have identified to really make these events successful as you're hosting them throughout the school year and for Every Kid Healthy Week coming up next month. Starting with definitely having the support and commitment from your administration. So a lot of these tips you'll find in that school event planning guide, but these are I just wanted to call out a couple of them specifically. You want to let the administration know what the activity is all about if they're not already aware, get their support right from the start. You'll also want to, and this is definitely a big part of that planning guide, but putting together an activity plan and engaging others who can help you and are also excited about the event through a committee. You can use the toolkit to help you get started there with organization and planning, but just realizing that you can't necessarily do everything yourself. If you're planning a big event, there's always going to be stuff that comes up. So you want to get started earlier and get as many helping hands as possible, or as that's going to make it efficient as you're going through with the planning process. And then you'll definitely want to communicate your activity to get others excited about it and involved, and use volunteers to assist with any activity or event can be a huge key to the success of the event. Volunteers might be able to help on your planning committee. They can help set up activity stations, recruit other parents or community members to get involved. They might help with registration or supervision or cleanup during the day. But really the efforts of those volunteers can be invaluable, especially if thought through in a strategic kind of thoughtful way and managed properly. They can be super valuable to make the event a success. So I encourage you to kind of start with your own parent community, get them involved as you can, and then delegate tasks and have that, take advantage of that additional help to build a more exciting and engaging event. A couple other top reasons to involve volunteers, or some of the other benefits that come along with that, with including that volunteer component. Volunteers can help you do more with limited resources. When done well, especially, they can really expand the scope of what you're able to do. They can also help you build new connections, both with parents, with community organizations. They can kind of initiate those relationships and help schools both now with that event that you're doing it that day, but also in the future as new needs arise and maybe more parents and community members get involved and feel more connected to the school. And it also just helping more parents, family members, community members get involved in the school, lets them know what all you're doing, all the great things that are happening. And I think schools are always looking for ways to spread that word and to say, hey, get involved here. Maybe that leads to participating more in a fundraiser down the line, or maybe it leads to getting more involved and joining the wellness team down the line. Who knows where it could lead to, but having that kind of initial engagement point is, I think, a really big key, and I think those events can provide a really easy way to do that and say, hey, we need 25 people to help us run this health fair and set up these stations anyway. This is a great way to get a parent involved who might be looking to help out but didn't really know where to start. So think about who might have those skills or interests that complement the needs that you have for the events, and then brainstorm how to maybe get them involved, whether it's individuals or local community organizations or businesses that could help out and volunteer and help meet those needs. So that was the last point that I have, and Sarah, I'll throw it back to you if you have anything else to add, or if there are any other questions that have come through.
Nothing to add, but we did have one more question that came through, and it's asking, we've had mixed experiences with community volunteers. How do we know if it would be a good fit?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and that's one of the reasons that kind of throughout the presentation today, that schools will always have when they're going through our system, whether that's with corporate volunteers or with volunteers through that they're recruiting through our portal, they always have that kind of right of refusal or right to to figure out whether it's going to be a good fit. So we can help with some sample screening questions or maybe some template emails on how to start those conversations. But really, schools will always have the control to say, to kind of get a feel for the potential volunteers and say, maybe this is a great fit for an event in the future, but not necessarily a great fit for this one. Sometimes that's really easy to figure out with an introduction or an intro conversation with a potential volunteer. Sometimes it takes an event where it doesn't necessarily go as great as you were hoping, and then you kind of have to have that difficult conversation with a volunteer at that point. In my experience, those kind of situations are much more rare than the opposite, where you have a really great experience with a volunteer because they just want to get involved and they want to be a part of the great stuff that's happening. But I definitely understand that those happen, and we are happy to kind of help along the way and really give schools as much control over that as possible, and then be a resource if needed to help facilitate those difficult conversations with kind of a template script if necessary, or some language about letting volunteers know what might be a good fit for them and what might not be. So we're always happy to provide, always happy to help provide some of those resources, and if that's helpful, then we can post some of those online as well as like a kind of a communications guide with volunteers.
Great, no other questions have come in. Thanks for submitting your questions, and hopefully those were good answers for all your questions that came in. So thanks again for submitting those questions.
Great. Thanks, Sarah. And if you do have any other questions, you can feel free to email me here at my email address, swade@actionforhealthykids.org, or at the volunteer email address, which is just volunteer@actionforhealthykids.org as well. So we'll wrap up a little bit early this hour. Give you about 10 minutes back of your hour today, but I do want to encourage you to go ahead and follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Flickr, and YouTube for more health tips, physical activity games, recipes, volunteer opportunities, and ideas for action. You can see some of the great stuff that we're posting there, and more of it as we go along each day. So that concludes our webinar for the day. We'll definitely send out a follow-up email within the next couple of days with a link to the recording and resources. I'd also like to thank Sarah for helping out and answering the questions, or providing the questions and providing some extra context and extra info along the way. And all of our listeners for the things that you guys are doing every day to ensure that all kids are healthy, active, and ready to learn. Thanks again for your time, and have a great day.